Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. How's everybody doing today? I know there's a lot of stress out in the world, and this video I'm going to focus on 10 or 15 minutes of news stories that I think are some of the most important to hit. You know, stories are changing by the minute, it seems like these days, and we could spend an hour going through everything, but I'm going to focus on some key ones that have come out, some key things that are just rapidly happening right now, and that involves both Israel and Gaza, also Russia, Ukraine, so you kind of get a sense of where we're at in this whole powder keg of World War III. If you have friends and family that haven't quite caught on that, as my thumbnail says, you need to get ready now, share this video with them. Hit that like button. Let's spread the word. Of course, I always appreciate your comments and the subscriptions for all the new subscribers. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, hit that button to subscribe. But let's go on here. And we're going to start off in Europe because with everything that's going on with Israel last few days and Hamas and all that, kind of been swept under the carpet. No one's paying attention. Well, we need to because that has not slowed down over there anymore. And we see here that is there Nord Stream 2.0, another attack on a pipeline, they're saying. This one between Finland and Estonia. And, we have, it connects, like I said, Finland and Estonia, and it's come under attack that Finland is alleging, basically. And as you can see the pipeline here, it's called the Baltic Connector, and basically this feeds natural gas from Estonia to Finland. And with it being turned off now because of the leak, Finland has to get all their natural gas through shipments, through boats, through liquid natural gas, and through their terminals by Helsinki and Inko there. Estonia can still get natural gas from Latvia, so that's where they're getting it from. But, as they keep pointing out, winter's coming. It's going to get cold, they say. Last year they said the same thing, and it wasn't that cold. They had a warm winter. Hopefully the same happens, but as history would prove, that's probably not going to happen. It's probably be a cold winter, and they're going to need all the natural gas they can get. Prices are already spiking, but let's continue on. We got a lot to go through. There's a premise of sabotage, they said here, and it's been deliberate damage, according to the Finnish Daily News over there. And it says here that, as I said, Finland must rely fully on its floating liquid natural gas terminals to get supply. Now, NATO, how do they respond to this? Well, the NATO Secretary General threatens a response, quote-unquote response, if the Finland pipeline was sabotaged. So they're going to blame this on Russia, whether it was Russia or not, or a false flag by a NATO country in order to get NATO to respond. Doesn't really matter because it's happened, and I believe NATO is going to say it was Russia, of course, so they can use it to their advantage. But let's read a couple key points here. Finland and other Baltic countries are on high alert as a natural gas undersea pipeline leak was detected. Also, there's a undersea communication cable ran alongside this, also damaged and cut. So, like I said, those undersea cables that transmit internet, very vulnerable all around the world. Nefarious actors hit those, you're going to lose internet. That'll crush the financial world along with other stuff. But look for that to continue also. And basically NATO said here, Stoltenberg, what he's saying is, quote, and if it's proven to be a deliberate attack on NATO critical infrastructure, then this will be serious, but will also be met with a unified and determined response from NATO. And there you see his tweet right there kind of saying the same thing. Moving on from that real quick, you go down here, you can see another photo. This other pipeline here was the Nord Stream 2 that was, of course, blown up, and you can see where it is in coordination with that. And as the last quote here, it says, and it looks just as if someone has torn it from side to side and the concrete has broken off or peeled off it in the damaged area. So it could have been an accident, ship anchor, all that. Probably not, but probably an explosion, threw it side to side. Who knows? They said there was some seismic activity in the area. You can see the ship traffic. It's a very busy shipping lane. Could be an accident, but it doesn't matter. I think they'll blame NATO. Moving on from there, though, we see this is the map of the Russian and Ukrainian positions in Ukraine. If we back out, you'll see here. What I want to point out is heavy fighting still going on here. No matter what's going on in Israel and Gaza, we got heavy fighting going on. You can see there's been a little bit of ground gained here in the Zaporizhzhia region. The blue is the Ukrainian gains. You can see a little bit here. But Russia is advancing right now. They're doing some advancing. And one of the places they're advancing, they're showing it here in yellow, is they're trying to encircle, as you can see, they're basically almost all encircled it, is Advika, if I pronounce it correctly. They're going to encircle that and probably take it back soon. So, Russia is advancing. Also, there's major fighting up here in Bakhmut. All right, here's Bakhmut right here. You can see more fighting all around it. They're increasing there. So basically, Russia's still continuing the war. War's still going on here. We're sending them more weapons. It's like 200 million more. Germany just gave them 1.1 billion more of weapons, so not slowing down there. Don't be sidetracked by Israel, Gaza, Hamas, all that, because still got this war going on. And of course, as we see here, the White House is saying, hey, why don't we, we got to give Israel aid. We got 100% support of Israel. We got to give them stuff. So why don't we tie some Ukraine aid in there into one package, because no one's voting against Israel aid. That means we'll get Ukrainian aid also. Remember the House in their spending bill that they, just passed to do 45 days of spending to November 17th. They said no more aid to Ukraine. But you know what? If we tie it to Israel, we'll get it. Coincidence? No, of course not. And definitely look for them to do that. And as it says here, the U.S. is already shipping new arms to Israel under existing authorities. Basically, to ship them everything we got. Why not? Let's empty our reserves. All right, let's go into Twitter here. I bookmarked a lot of new updates, and we're going to go through these kind of rapid fire so you kind of get a sense of what's going on. This is 17 minutes ago. And we see here Fox News says a full-on ground invasion is imminent. So that's what they're reporting. I think it'll definitely happen. Once it does, you're going to see Hezbollah get involved. They're actually better armed than Hamas, and that'll be a two-front war for Israel. Does that spur the U.S. to put boots on the ground or other stuff? Probably. That's what we'll see. Israel's Home Front Command sending an alert to their people, telling everybody to enter a protected area. They say could it be a malfunction, cyber attack, or real? We don't know, but, if they're going to start a ground war, they might want everybody to take cover because there might be a huge rocket response. The American death toll just increased to 22, according to the State Department. In this video you're seeing here, we have air alarms in Haifa, which is in the northern part of Israel, close to Lebanon and Hezbollah and all that. The sounds of military aircraft can be heard on the border with Lebanon. It's reported that several paragliders flew from Lebanon to Israel. That might have been debunked since this happened, but there's definitely some activity going on up there. People running, air raid sirens. Then we have the IDF Home Front Command has ordered that residents that are in the north of the city of Haifa should remain to be sheltered in place. We have terrorists infiltrating a small town here called Ma'alat, near the border with Lebanon. So starting that two-front war. And there's the pipeline down here. And as I was talking about, U.S. sends another $200 million in weapons to Ukraine. Lastly, we got here 4 hours ago, Hezbollah said in a statement that the United States is a full partner of Israel's aggression. And it says that Hezbollah says that it holds the United States fully responsible for the airstrikes that are killing civilians in Gaza. Lastly, let's look at this really quick. Hamas is calling on the Palestinian people and the Arab and Muslim nations around the world, around the free people world, to have this Friday the 13th, to have an event. They want everybody to march towards the border of occupied Palestine in solidarity with Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So they're asking for a giant, march in Israel, basically, in Jerusalem to the mosque. They're also asking for big cities around the world on the 13th to have, big protests. There's going to be, in this protest they're having, it's very, divisive. There's the Israel side and then the Palestinian side. And one group does not want to see the side of the other group, and they're going to conflict. And if they're going to have these protests and counter-protests, my suggestion is not to be anywhere near there. Big cities, it could turn violent. Hopefully everybody protests peacefully, does all that stuff like they're in this, you're allowed to, protest peacefully, get out there, yell, scream, chant, and all that. But as history has proven, these usually turn violent, and if they do, you don't want to be anywhere near there. If you're in the city, maybe get out. If there's a protest going to be in the city, I would not go in. So look for Friday for stuff to happen in cities what these protests are calling for. So now we're going to switch over to The Guardian. They're doing a great job here of putting a timeline together of key events and when they're happening between Israel and Gaza and Hamas and all that. And you can go to their website, just theguardian.com, and like I said, they have a great timeline you go to. They put good summaries. That's what we'll check out here. So we can just get a summary of some of the stuff happening as the last things we want to talk about here. So they got the Palestinian death toll since Saturday stands at 1,100 people. They got the Israeli death toll stands at 1,200. That's what it's up to now with 2,700 wounded. Gaza has one power plant and it's running out of fuel. They said they got a few hours of that left. As a pointer for everybody out there, if you have your generator, because you think you're going to lose power. Make sure you have fuel. Make sure it's stored. Make sure it's stabilized. It's fresh. Make sure it's away from that house, stored somewhere safe, not near a flame. Don't catch your house on fire. Do anything stupid like that. But this proves that you're going to run out of fuel. Make sure you have it. Israel formed a emergency government so they can have no conflicts. They're going to be ready to go into this ground war. They're going to have a common voice out of the government, so they did that. We talked about the infiltration from Lebanon of Israeli airspace. They targeted hundreds of people overnight. What else do we have here? Let's go through. British Airways suspended flights. A lot of airlines suspended flights. A lot of countries are sending military flights into Israel to evacuate people. The United States hasn't done this yet, but a lot of countries have. Poland, Australia, I think Japan. There's a lot of countries that are sending planes to get their people out of there. They think 150 people are being held captive, kidnapped by Hamas right now. United States is thinking about going in to rescue their people and trying to do it in coordination with the Egyptian government. Also, I don't think it says on here. Right here. The U.S. is discussing brokering an air corridor for civilians in Gaza. They're trying to work with Israel and Egypt to try to get civilians out of Gaza into Egypt safely. So when Israel does go into the ground, that you limit their civilian casualties. There's going to be some, of course, but they're trying to limit it. And then I want to scroll, if I can find it, to the picture I had on the thumbnail. And what this is these are when Hamas came across the border. They came across in vehicles, cars, motorbikes, as you see here. But this is how they infiltrated. And then they just went in and, basically started, doing, what they're doing, shooting, attacking things. But look at this picture. We got a nice neighborhood, nice cars, but you got, bad people running around motorbikes causing mayhem. So if you think about this, you can put in the context of the United States or Italy, whatever country where you have a lot of flood of immigrants coming in. And, they're unvetted. They're, coming in illegally. And, could this, infiltration happen? When you got like over there in Italy, you've got, 8,000 migrants coming in on boats, landing in a small island, and they're just going to be released. You don't know who those people are. You don't know what they're up to. Are they all bad? No. Are there some bad actors in there? Yes, probably. And, basically why I put this picture up is this could happen in a neighborhood near you. So you got to be ready. You may be thinking, I'm in a nice neighborhood. I got nice grass, nice cars, nice houses. That would never happen. Well, that's probably what these people were thinking as well. So you need to get yourself ready for that. As I put out at the beginning thumbnail, get ready now. So you got your self-defense tools because, as you can see, a lot of people in Israel didn't. People thought Israel was well armed, all the citizens. Well, they weren't. They don't have a Second Amendment. Hard to get weapons over there. You're allowed like 50 or 100 rounds for your pistol or rifle. Well, that's not going to do much. You're going to run out of that really quick, especially if you have a couple firearms. So, just as those people experience, you need to prepare now. Your food, water, self-defense, heightened watch. As the motto of our channel is here, keep your ear to the ground. So you're listening for things, you're watching my videos, you're checking out the internet, keeping up with the news, and you're going to keep your head on that swivel. You're doing extra security. You're looking over your shoulder. You're watching your house, your neighbors. You're talking to your neighbors. You're doing all that, open source intelligent gathering because you need to keep up with it because we're on the verge of a giant World War III happening, and it might come from even internally, not from a foreign actor. You might have sleeper cells. You might have other things happening. So that's all I have for you. I know it was quick. We ran over about 17 minutes or so here. So hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you're doing what you can. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.